Climate change is no longer a distant threat, it's here, and it's affecting every corner of our planet. We're seeing rising temperatures, melting polar ice caps, more frequent and intense natural disasters, and rising sea levels threatening coastal cities. These aren't just problems for the future, they're impacting us right now. Farmers are struggling with unpredictable weather, communities are being displaced by floods, and ecosystems like coral reefs are disappearing before our eyes. But while the situation is serious, there's still hope. That hope lies in science and technology. The same advancements that have allowed us to explore the depths of space are now being used to protect our home, Earth. Today, climate scientists are turning to space to help us understand and fight the impacts of climate change. And that's what we're here to talk about. How can space technology, something that seems so far removed from our everyday lives, be one of the most powerful tools in the fight to save our planet? Let's dive into how space technology is actually helping us in the fight against climate change. You might be wondering, what does outer space have to do with the health of our planet? The answer lies in the incredible capabilities of satellites orbiting high above us. Right now, there are thousands of satellites circling the Earth, and many of them are dedicated to monitoring the planet's climate. These aren't just high-tech cameras taking pictures from space. They're sophisticated instruments that collect critical data about what's happening to our atmosphere, oceans, and land in real time. For example, satellites like the European Space Agency's Sentinel-5P are constantly measuring air pollution, giving us a clear view of harmful gases like nitrogen dioxide and ozone, which are not visible to the naked eye. Then we have satellites like Japan's GOSAT, which specifically track carbon dioxide and methane emissions, two of the most potent greenhouse gases driving climate change. Without these space-based tools, it would be nearly impossible to accurately track how much of these gases are being released and where they're coming from. But it doesn't stop there. Satellites also help us monitor changes in sea levels, the melting of glaciers, and shifts in ocean temperatures. The Copernicus Sentinel-6 satellite, for instance, provides precise measurements of sea level rise, which is one of the most direct threats posed by global warming. With this data, scientists can make more accurate predictions about the future, how much land will be submerged by rising oceans, or which regions will be hit hardest by extreme weather events. The power of space technology lies in its ability to give us a global perspective. From hundreds of kilometers above Earth, satellites can scan vast areas that would be impossible to monitor from the ground. They can detect changes that are invisible to us, like slight shifts in temperature or tiny increases in sea levels, giving scientists the information they need to act before it's too late. Another important function of space technology is in weather prediction. Satellites help meteorologists forecast severe weather with greater accuracy. Whether it's hurricanes, floods, or droughts, having advanced warning allows governments and communities to prepare, potentially saving thousands of lives. In fact, many of the early warning systems in place today, which help countries anticipate and respond to natural disasters, are powered by data from space. Without this technology, we'd be flying blind in our efforts to tackle climate change. But with it, we can track changes as they happen, understand the full scope of the problem, and develop strategies to protect vulnerable populations. So, when you think about the fight against climate change, it's not just about what we're doing here on the ground, it's about what's happening far above us in space. Satellites are our eyes in the sky, giving us the information we need to make smarter decisions, predict future risks, and, hopefully, prevent the worst impacts of climate change. So, how is all this space technology being used to create real, tangible results in the fight against climate change? Let's take a closer look at some of the most impactful ways satellites are making a difference right now. One of the most important roles of space technology is in tracking greenhouse gas emissions. Carbon dioxide, CO2, and methane are two of the biggest drivers of global warming, and knowing exactly where these gases are coming from is essential if we want to reduce them. Satellites like NASA's OCO2 and Japan's GOSAT are scanning the Earth's atmosphere every day, measuring the concentration of CO2 and methane with extreme precision. These satellites can even detect emissions from individual cities, factories, or power plants, helping governments and organizations pinpoint the biggest polluters. For example, after the launch of GOSAT, researchers were able to map methane leaks from gas pipelines that would have been almost impossible to detect from the ground. This kind of information allows industries to quickly fix problems and lower their emissions. It's a game changer for policymakers and companies who are serious about reducing their carbon footprint. Another key application is in predicting extreme weather events. With the help of satellites, scientists can track and analyze hurricanes, floods, droughts, and other climate-related disasters with unprecedented accuracy. Satellites like NOAA's GOSAR series provide constant, real-time monitoring of weather patterns, allowing meteorologists to predict hurricanes days in advance and even track their paths with pinpoint accuracy. This kind of early warning system is crucial for saving lives and minimizing damage, especially in vulnerable regions where extreme weather is becoming more common due to climate change. In 2020, for example, satellite data helped predict the path of Hurricane Laura, one of the most powerful hurricanes to hit the U.S. Gulf Coast. This early warning allowed thousands of people to evacuate before the storm made landfall, significantly reducing the potential loss of life. But it's not just about disaster response. Satellites are also helping us plan for the long-term impacts of climate change. They're being used to monitor sea level rise and the melting of ice caps, which are two of the clearest indicators of global warming. Satellites like NASA's ICESat-2 are tracking the thinning of glaciers and polar ice sheets, giving scientists a detailed view of how quickly ice is disappearing in places like Greenland and Antarctica. The information provided by satellites is helping coastal cities plan for the future. For instance, places like Miami and New Orleans are already using this data to develop strategies for dealing with rising sea levels. They're building seawalls, redesigning drainage systems, and even considering relocating communities. These are difficult decisions, but the data from space makes it clear what needs to be done. Satellites are also revolutionizing agriculture in a world where climate change is making traditional farming increasingly difficult. With unpredictable weather patterns, droughts, and floods, farmers need all the help they can get to ensure their crops survive. That's where precision agriculture comes in. By using satellite data, farmers can monitor soil conditions, water availability, and crop health from space. This allows them to make smarter decisions about when to plant, irrigate, and harvest, minimizing water waste and improving yields, even in tough conditions. For example, in Africa, satellite technology has been helping farmers adapt to increasingly erratic weather patterns caused by climate change. With satellite-based tools, they can predict rainfall patterns, monitor drought conditions, and adjust their planting schedules accordingly. In many cases, this has been the difference between a successful harvest and total crop failure. In short, space technology isn't just providing us with data, it's giving us the tools to act. Whether it's reducing greenhouse gas emissions, preparing for extreme weather, managing natural resources, or helping farmers adapt to changing climates, satellites are playing a critical role in protecting our planet. And the best part? This technology is only getting better. As we continue to invest in space exploration, we're developing even more advanced tools to monitor the Earth's climate and help us find solutions to this global crisis. Space technology doesn't just benefit a single country or region, it's a tool for the entire planet. One of the most powerful aspects of space-based climate monitoring is the way it promotes global collaboration. No one country can solve climate change alone, and satellites are providing the data needed to coordinate efforts across borders. Agencies like NASA, the European Space Agency, ESA, and JAXA in Japan are working together, sharing satellite data to improve our understanding of the climate. This collaboration is leading to more accurate global climate models, which help governments make informed decisions about cutting emissions, preparing for natural disasters, and managing natural resources. But satellites don't just help us monitor the crisis, they're also key to building a more sustainable future. For example, precision agriculture uses satellite data to optimize farming practices, reducing water use and minimizing environmental damage. Similarly, satellites are helping cities design more sustainable infrastructures, with insights into energy use, pollution, and natural disaster risks. Ultimately, space technology is about giving us the information we need to create a more resilient, sustainable world. It's a tool for both understanding the problem and developing real-world solutions. As we look to the future, it's clear that space technology will continue to play a critical role in addressing climate change. The next generation of satellites promises even more precise data, faster monitoring, and the ability to track environmental changes in real time. Emerging technologies like AI and machine learning will help scientists process vast amounts of data from space, identifying patterns and trends that were previously impossible to detect. New satellite constellations are being designed to monitor even the most remote parts of the planet, like the deep oceans and dense rainforests, giving us a more complete picture of Earth's health. This data will be essential not just for understanding the current state of the climate, but for predicting future changes and taking proactive steps to mitigate them. Private companies are also getting involved, launching satellites and developing technologies that are pushing the boundaries of what's possible. This blend of public and private efforts will likely accelerate innovation and make space technology even more accessible to countries and organizations around the world. But the future of space technology is not just about more advanced machines in orbit, it's about how we use this technology to create real change on Earth. Satellites give us the knowledge we need to take action, but it's up to us to turn that knowledge into results. And that's where you come in. We all have a role to play in combating climate change, and the data from space is more than just numbers, it's a call to action for each of us. You don't need to be a scientist or work for a space agency to make a difference. Support policies that are based on scientific data. Stay informed about how your community is affected by climate change. Reduce your carbon footprint by making small changes in your daily life, whether it's reducing energy use, cutting down on waste, or choosing more sustainable products. But most importantly, help spread the word. The fight against climate change requires global cooperation, and the more people who understand the role that space technology plays, the more powerful our collective response can be. Share this information, engage in conversations, and become an advocate for space-based solutions. We have the tools, we have the knowledge, and now we need the action. From satellites in space to the choices we make here on Earth, everything is connected. Together, we can turn the data from above into a more sustainable future for us all.